Welcome back to Your Darts, where we learn to do dart checkouts in our head. We're going to continue to use a formula to make dart checkouts easier, and we're covering the final 4 numbers. Number 167. So we're just going to jump straight into this. So treble 20 for our first dart. What is left from 167? When we throw out treble 20, you just put 40 onto the last 2 digits. So I'm putting 40 onto 67. And it's revealed 107, and that is a 2 dart finish. So the way to take out 107 is treble 19. It's the only way to take out 107 with 2 darts. Treble 19, which is 57, and you need another 50 to make it 107. That should be bullseye. And that's your 2 dart checkout. Now, of course, we might miss treble 19 and hit the big 19. This is this miss rule where we're going to have to put into our practice routine that we will hit the big number more times than the treble. That's what's just going to happen. So practice that. If you hit the 19, it would leave 88, and you got 1 dart left to take out 88. And I would take that. I would probably throw out treble 20 for double 14. Hitting the big 20 would leave 68. But you can also, for 88, throw out treble 16. And I do this quite often as well, because that's 48. Hitting that would leave double 20 when I return, and hitting the big 16 would leave 72 when I return. So just walk that down nice and slowly again. On our very first dart, we might miss the treble and hit the big number. So just take 20 off 167, leaves 147. Any snooker fans out there? And you've got 2 darts to take out 147. Let's just keep going for treble 20 because it makes life easy. And you would put 40 onto the last 2 digits, in this case 47, and it leaves 87. Now you've got 1 dart to take out 87. What should you do? Well, the 2 dart finish for 87 is the first dart indicator, treble 17 for double 18. Hitting the big 17 would leave 70. Okay, so that's how I would do it. That's how I would take out 87 if you got 1 dart. But again, so I'm not learning 167. I like to just repeat this, because when I first started learning these numbers, I thought, how am I going to remember these big numbers? All you're learning is to put 40 onto 60. You're learning 107, aren't you? The 2 dart finish of 107. So these are the golden 44 numbers that you've uncovered here: 107, 88, 87. If you've gone away and learned these, and you're watching these videos, wow, you're pretty much there. You're going to know how to check out. Number 168, and again a red number, so it's a bogey number. You cannot get out with 3 darts on 168. And let's show you how we can prove this, how we can work that out, but also how to throw it. So treble 20 for our first dart. What's left from 168? We just put 40 onto the last 2 digits. 40 onto 68 is 108, and now that's not a 2 dart finish. We cannot get out in 2 darts without 108, but let's carry on. So a couple of options here. 108 is Shanghai of 18s. I'm going to do a video all about Shanghais. So you could go for treble 18. A Shanghai is a treble, a single, and a double of a number. You can go for try and get a single and a treble, and then you'd return back to the board on a double. And we'll cover that a little bit more in depth when I actually cover Shanghais very shortly. I'm hoping to get onto that. But let's just go with treble 20, because why not? Treble 20 for our first dart. We're going to put 40 onto the last 2 digits, 40 onto 8, and it reveals 48. And you've got 1 dart left to take out 48. You may well go single 8 for tops if you're strong on tops. If you're a 16s player, you take 2 off this 8, so it would be 6. So 16 double 16. All 16 players know 48. And if you're an 18th player, just plus 4 onto 8. So it would be 12 double 18. So a single 12 for double 18 if you like to finish on your 18s. Now, of course, with the first of our 2 darts at 108, we might hit the 20. Okay, which would leave 88. And you've got 1 dart left to take out 88. And you probably throw at treble 20 again for double 14, but if you hit double 14, you can throw at treble 16, which is 48 for double top. Okay, so there's options there. Now on the very first dart, you might miss treble 20 and hit the big 20. Just take 20 off 168 is 148, and you got 2 darts now to take out 148. Let's go for treble 20 again, and this formula, which I've accidentally rubbed out, but oh, not 44. You would go to put 40. So let's actually just clean that up because it's messy. You're going to put 40 onto the last 2 digits, and it reveals 88. And now you've got 1 dart, and we've just covered this, either treble 20 for double 14 or treble 16 for double 20. Okay, that's pretty much 168. Now it is a bogey number, but we need to know it, and it's quite easy to see that it's a bogey number. You just basically, all these 160 numbers, you just, if it's 168, you say to yourself 108. That's a good way to do it. And if you know your 2 dart finishes, you know 108 is not a 2 dart finish. And like 167, 107. Oh, it is a 2 dart finish. 166, 106. No, it's not a 2 dart finish. So that's a really, really, really quick way when you're standing there going, right, is this a bogey number or not? You know, so that's a little tip for you there. So that's number 168. Number 169. So our last bogey number that we have. But let's break this down. Treble 20 for the first dart. What's left from 169? You would just put 40 onto 69 is 109, and that's what helps us work out it's not a 2 dart finish, so it's a bogey number because you can't get out with 2 darts. But we've got 2 darts left. How would we set this up? So treble 20 again, because we're just going to add in, we're going to put 40 onto 9, so 49. You hit treble 20, it leaves 49, and you've got 1 dart left at 49. How are we going to set up when you come back to the board? You can throw a single 9 for double 20 when you come back. If you like to finish on double 16s and you can't quite see the single number you need, just take 2 off the last digit. Take 2 off 9 is 7, so a single 7 for double 16. If you're an 18s player, you just plus 4 onto the last digit, so 4 onto 9 is 13, so a single 13 for double 18 when you return to the board. If when we're throwing for treble, when we're throwing treble 24, the first of our 2 darts at 109 and we hit the 20, you just take 20 off 109, wouldn't you? And it would be 89. You've got 1 dart to take out 89. It's good to know your 2 dart finishes because you can use them. So even though you got 1 dart, the 2 dart finish for 89 is treble 19 for double 16. Now you're going to go for that, you might as well, because you return to the board with double 16. If you hit, this is where this miss rule is so important to know. If you hit this big 19, it would leave 70, and you come back to the board with 3 darts at 70. So quite a nice little finish with 3 darts. So if on the first of our darts we throw, when we're going to treble 20 at 169, we hit big 20, just take 20 off 169 is a 149, and you've got 2 darts to take that out. So let's investigate treble 20. You would put same process, you're putting 40 onto the last 2 digits. 40 onto 49 is 89, and you've got 1 dart left. Now we've just done that. We'll throw at treble 19 for double 16 when you return. Hitting the big 19 would leave 70 when you come back. If we miss treble 20 on the first of our 2 darts at 149 and hit the big 20, just take 20 off 149 is 129. So you're going for treble 20. Of course, if you hit 20 again, it leaves 109. Okay, just keep taking off whatever you hit. But to know what would be left if you hit your treble 20, same process. Put 40 onto 29, you'd come back to the board at 69. Now so I'd much rather get below 70 to come back to the board with 3 darts. You should get a definite shot out at bullseye. Because you could go treble 19 with your last dart at 129, and the formula for that is to add on 43 onto the last 2 digits, not 40 when you throw in treble 19. And if you can't work that out, just add 40 onto 29, so 69, add 3 more, and you'd come back to the board with 72, but that means you need a treble. Okay, so there's reasons why we do certain things. So I'm quite happy to leave 69 when I return to the board, because at least I'm going to get a shot out at bullseye. Now, because this is the last bogey number, I have covered this in another video, so go watch that, but I'll show you my little rhyme that I've got. So the rhyme is 1 before, 2, 3 after, 2 in the middle, and 2 before the end. And that's how I remembered what these bogey numbers are. Okay, so when you realize that most of the bogey numbers are in the 60 range here, the one before part is going to be 159. Okay, 1 before the 60 range is 159. 2, 3 after is 162, 163. 2 in the middle's 5, so 165, 166. And 2 before the end. We know the end is 170, and we know that's fine. So 2 before the end is 168, 169. Now, a viewer kindly messaged me saying how he remembers it, and probably what is commonly done, I really don't know, is 147. The way to remember that is the maximum break at snooker, for any snooker fans. So 1 being, so these are the numbers in the 60 range that you can hit, the 147. 1 being 161, 4 being 164, 7 being 167. So I like that. A couple of things you have to recognize, because it doesn't mention 160, so you have to just know that 160 you can check out on. I suppose you can see it as the top, the bottom and the top you can check out on 160, and you can check out 170. So but I quite like 147. It's a really quick way to realize all those are numbers you can actually check out on in the 60 range, the 161, the 164 and the 167. But also the little rhyme was fun. I hope it might have helped a few people. But anyway, together those are ways to definitely know what your bogey numbers are and try and avoid them where possible. So to the last example of the day, 170, the big fish, the one we all like to see. People go crazy over this one, but really the way people are hitting that treble 20 is happening more and more. It's not such a hard, there's harder finishers, let's just say that. But anyway, I've never hit it, but hey, treble 20, let's just go through treble 20. What's left out of 140? You put 40 onto 70, and it would leave the biggest 2-dart finish that we have, 110. Now, you've got 2 more darts to take out 110. We all know it's another treble 20 for bullseye, right? Treble 20, bull. That's the 3 darts for 170. But let's just do the formula. You would put 40 onto the last 2 digits, 40 onto 10, and it would leave 50, which is where you get your bullseye. Now, if we miss the treble 20 on the first of our 2 darts at 110, and we hit the 20, take 20 off 110, and it would leave 90, and you've got 1 dart left at 90. So really, if I've got 1 dart left at 90, I'm going to throw it at the centre of the board. If I hit bullseye, it leaves me 40, so double 20 when I come back. If I hit the 25, which I'm more likely to do because it's a bigger surface area, then I would have 65 when I return to the board with 3 darts, and that's not a bad finish. Now on the very first dart, if you miss your treble 20 and hit your big 20, just take 20 off 170 is 150, and you've got 2 darts to take that out. So let's throw out treble 20. Let's put the formula on. What's left from 150 after we've hit treble 20? Put 40 on 50, it would leave 90, and you've got 1 dart left, so I've already said that I'll throw it at the centre of the board. Now, if I miss treble 20 with my first or 2 darts at 150 and hit 20, just take 20 off 150, it would leave 130. And I've got 1 dart left at 130. I'm probably going to throw it. Well, let's investigate. I'm going to throw it at treble 20. Now we're going to put 40 onto the last 2 digits, 40 onto 30. It would leave 70 when you return back to the board. If you hit the 20 when you miss your treble, it would leave 110 when you return to the board. Just walk it down nice and slowly. You don't have to do that, but I recommend doing it as much as you can. But just know, and I don't really need any help really for 170, do you? Because everyone knows it, treble 20, bull. But it's always good just to dissect it and practice it. Okay, so coming next time, we're going to be doing something else with these formulas, just more practice, more board management. I'm going to show you some fancy finishes as well, my top 5 fancy finishes, and also how to make your own finishes, I believe. I think I'm going to do that as well. And also understanding Dart Shanghai, what it is, how to really quickly see if a number is a Shanghai that you can work with, how to work out your Dart Shanghais, and there's a game which I'll show you how to play that as well. So thanks for watching. Take care for now.